is he here illegally?
No.
Is he here illegally? He's not.
Nope.
You sure about that?
Yes, he has a green card.
They're not legal permanent if they're on a green card. They are not legal
What do you
permanent
think
residents.
What do you think a
they're
green
on a
card
green
is?
card.
No, the reason why you would send them billions of
Especially when
dollars is because a
all the-
dictator is invading them.
And you don't think Zelensky's a dictator?
Looks like they are now. All right. Hello?
What's up, Hassan 2.0? How's it going?
I'm Hassan 2.0. How am I Hassan 2.0?
I clicked on your profile and you sounded just like him. You're Hassan 2.0. There's no difference. You guys don't know what you guys are talking about. All you guys
Okay.
are run your mouth conservatives. No
All
idea
right,
what
buddy.
you're talking about.
All right, let's see if that's true, okay? Go ahead. You said that I run my mouth and I don't know what I'm talking about. Tell me a statement I made that's false.
All right. Well, no, let's just see what's your opinion on immigration?
Wait, did you not have something that you were referencing when you said I didn't know what I was talking about?
Everything you talking
Okay, can you give me one of that everything?
All right, do you think people should be getting deported?
That's not
What about
that's not
immigrants
a thing.
that,
Okay.
No, but I want to know
you
your
said
opinion
everything
on
that I was talking about.
because
Can you give me
you're
a
just
thing
on
I
there
was talking about that
you're on there talking
that
about conservatives and
Yep.
how they're all bad and all this and all that. I want to know your opinion on the immigration, the deportation and stuff like that.
Okay, so I'm going to
Of the
assume that when you were saying
criminals
that, you were
have-
just being
the
hyperbolic and you
criminals
didn't
that have
actually have
sex
anything that.
crimes and multiple felonies that these all the liberals and all of the leftists are saying for them to stay. What do you got to say about that?
Okay, so like I said, I'm
answer
going to
that question
assume
for
that.
me.
Okay, so yeah, like
Just
I
answer
said,
that
I'm going to
question for
assume
me.
that when you came in here, you were just being a bit hyperbolic and we were just going back and forth. I could deal with that.
Yeah.
That's fine. All right, so
I'm here to have a
my
little
so yeah,
debate.
so
I
my
wanna know
so my
the
position
big
on deportation is that we should be deporting people who commit crimes, especially illegals who commit crimes. And in the case
I agree
of
with
the
that.
specific deportation, I would just want to see if we are deporting people, evidence for the crimes that they committed before they're deported. Do you think that is a high bar to set?
No, that's fair, but
Okay, do you disagree that do you agree that Trump is trying to deport people without presenting the evidence for why they're being deported?
they have the evidence. These are people that have been convicted of felonies that he's been deporting.
Okay, what felony has Mahmoud Kali committed? Do you even know who that is?
Well, if they got deported, they're either they don't have a visa, they're illegal here. So that's a crime and all of stuff. They're not supposed to be here illegally. That's a crime.
Okay, so
all
you
in
just
itself.
said if they're being deported, they committed a crime.
Yeah.
So you're in your mind.
Being illegal
Trump,
in this country is
hold on.
a crime.
No, I'm making a statement because you don't know who I'm referring to, and
Okay,
you're
but
just
I'm just saying,
assuming
if he's
that they're here illegally.
He's here illegally.
Do you know who Mahmoud Kali
that's
is?
I don't care who he is.
Okay, well, I gave you a specific example and asked you if you know of any felonies that he's committed.
Is he here illegally?
No.
Is he here illegally? He's not.
Nope.
You sure about that?
Yes, he has a green card.
Okay.
So the reason why I wanted to address that is, do you see the problem with you just assuming that if somebody is deported, they're doing something illegal? This is like a bias. You should, in all of these instances, especially in a conversation back and forth with somebody who's disagreeing with you, you should be like, oh, okay, I do not know who that person is. Maybe we'll look it up. Maybe we'll talk about it. So this particular person, I'm not sure if you heard of them. I'm sure in
tell me about it.
Yeah, well,
Tell me
the
about it.
reason
I've
why
never
is
heard
just
of it.
because it's been rather high profile. So this person was a person on Columbia University campuses who was a part of the CUAD. They were a legal green card holder, legal permanent residents of the United States, one step down from being a naturalized citizen. And that
But
person was
was he part of the Hamas riots
no,
or the Hamas protests, whatever you want to call them?
no. By he was so the CUAD had those pro-Palestinian things, which I'm assuming, just for your argument, you would assume all pro-Palestinian protests are pro-Hamas riots. And I'm not saying that's necessarily the case. I'll just assume that that's how you view them. And then he was a negotiator for those, and his peers referred to his position in these protests as being de-escalatory in nature. He was deported because well, first of all, he was deported without a trial. The Trump administration didn't want to give him a trial and have the evidence actually seen by any court or due process. Do you think that's wrong? Have I lost you?
I think if you're here on with the green card, even if it's still valid and it's not expired or anything like that, then you should if your name, because if you think that those riots slash protests isn't pro Hamas, it's not pro Palestinian, it's pro Hamas, and you
Do
can't
you
deny
know
that.
which protests I'm referring to?
Yes.
Okay, what are they?
I'm talking about the pro Hamas protests all over the country.
Yeah, I'm asking you
I'm
which
not talking
one
about a
that you
specific
believe he was a
one.
part of. Wait, just to be
I
clear, you don't
I
know
just
who I'm
told you I
talking
didn't know
about,
that
right?
guy, but you just said, well, he was trying to de-escalate one of the protests or whatever you just said,
Yeah, so
and
there was on Columbia University, you know the college campuses? How they were
yeah,
engaging in protest?
yeah.
Yeah, so on the college campuses, he was a negotiator, and his colleagues were saying that his principal position as being a negotiator between the campus or between the college and the group was not only positioning to divest from corporations that supported Israel, but also to de escalate uh, uh, and advocate for peaceful protest.
Well, I don't really want to speak on that because I'm not sure. I'm
Sure,
not.
that's fine. We don't have to speak
Yeah,
on that specifically. The Trump
yeah, because
administration
I
did
don't
not.
know. I don't know that
So
situation, so I can't speak on that.
right, so that guy was a legal green card holder, and the Trump administration wanted to kick him out of the United States without a trial. Do you think that the Trump administration or any presidency should be allowed to kick out a legal permanent resident of the United States of America without any trial or due process?
All right, you said any president, right?
Yeah, well, I mean, obviously, if Trump can do
You
it,
said
then any
any president.
president should be able to do it, right? Yeah, I'm assuming you're not going to
Okay,
say
but you
Trump should be
said
allowed to do things.
no. No, you said no president should do that. You know, Obama deported more illegal immigrants than any other president, including Trump. So what do you got? I did you vote for Obama? Tell me that.
No, I don't. Am I old enough to vote?
Did you vote
I
for
think
Obama?
I don't remember. I think I was. I don't remember if I was old enough to vote for Obama. I don't think so. Um, but no,
But did you support Obama? Did
I
you?
support him deporting illegals.
And you don't think he deported people that have green cards that didn't have a trial? You don't think he did that?
You just say that he deported illegals
You,
who had a
you
green card?
not people with green card that's here on a green card. You don't think that he deported those people also?
I
You
would,
think only
maybe
Trump's
he
doing
did.
that? You
I would
don't
need
think
to
he did?
see evidence of him deporting somebody with the green card without evidence.
I'm just saying, I guarantee Obama also deported people that are here legally, but with green cards, he deported them. I guarantee it. Guarantee it.
Okay, person to person, right? You're a human being. I'm a human
Yeah.
being, right? Fuck all
Yeah,
the
yeah,
stream
for
shit,
sure, for
right?
sure.
Person to
Yeah,
person
for
here.
sure.
I want you to
Yeah.
really ingest what's happening. You are just, when I presented you a real case that is happening today of Donald Trump trying to remove a legal permanent resident of the United States without trial,
They're not legal
you,
permanent if they're on a green card. They are not legal
what do you
permanent
think
residents
what do you think
if
a
they're
green
on a
card
green
is?
card. A green card has a timetable. They are not legal residents if they're on a
Let's
green
bring
card.
the temperature down, buddy. Let's bring the temperature
No,
down.
no.
Can you
Yeah.
just Google for me what a green card is?
A green card is a temporary citizenship to a country, but temporary. It's not permanent. You gotta.
A green card is a permanent residency.
Yes,
Are
you're
you
right.
confusing the fact that it has to be renewed?
Yeah, that's yeah.
Okay, but it's permanent. You just have to renew it.
Okay, okay.
Okay.
Well, we can move
So
on.
again,
Okay, you
we're
got me right
just
there.
person to person here. I'm not trying to like beat you down or anything like this. So, do you agree that if this person is a legal permanent resident of the United States of America, Trump should have to, if he wants to deport him, should have to provide a trial substantiating why he ought to be deported? Do you agree with that?
Well,
That he
yes,
should have to do that?
we should get answers to why he got deported. I'm not saying we shouldn't. There should
Right.
be
So,
answers.
and we would get those answers through a trial, correct? His ability to defend his right to stay in the country. He should be able to defend his right to stay in the country through the legal process, correct?
I already told you I can't speak on this because I don't know the situation, so I don't want to speak on it. I don't know the situation with that particular person,
Okay,
so
let's
I don't want
just
to
say
speak on it.
hypothetically, we had a guy who had a green card and a president tried to kick them out without giving them a trial. Would you agree that that is unjust and that that person should be given a trial?
If the people in the government know if there's a security risk or something like that, then no, he don't need to have a trial. No. So if there's something that we don't know that he was a security risk or something like that, then
So you think the president of the United States should be able to, at any given time, unilaterally remove a person from the US who is a
yes,
legal green card holder and not
yes,
have to provide any evidence to a court,
yes,
not have to provide? So you believe that? Yeah.
yes, I do.
Okay. So just to be clear, if Biden wanted to deport any person with a green card for any reason that he wanted to, you think he should be able to do it?
If they think it's in the best, if it's the best for the country, then yes, he should be
How
able to
do
do it. Yes.
we know as the general public that they have the purpose is for national security or for what's best for the country, if not through a trial?
You just don't understand. You think this was just Trump that does this type of
I'm
thing.
asking you a question,
It's
a
not.
generalized
A
question.
lot of other presidents. Your Democratic presidents. It's all
I'm
of that.
asking
So,
you, can you give me a single instance of this happening from a Democratic president?
give me a second.
Wait, to be clear, you don't know. You just said it and now you're trying to Google it. The problem is, I'm not trying to beat you down here. What I'm trying to say, and nor am I trying to say that Democratic presidents don't do it. What I'm trying to say is that you are right now just positioning yourself as being pro-Trump no matter what.
Well, Obama deported 3 million illegal and green card holders. So I was correct. So
Can you provide me where it shows Obama deported 3 million green card holders?
I didn't say green card holders. I said illegal immigrants and green card holders.
Where is the evidence that Obama deported somebody on a green card without any evidence or a trial? Okay, look, either way, like I said, my point isn't to say Democratic presidents don't do this. I don't care if Democratic presidents do it. I don't think anybody should do it. I am asking you, as a principled position, should the president of the United States be able to throw somebody out of the country who is on a green card, who is a legal resident of the United States of America, for any reason that they want without having to substantiate it to a court?
Yes.
Okay. Do you understand why a lot of other people might think that that's a bad idea? Because that allows people to unilaterally, a president to unilaterally remove somebody from the country, a legal resident from the country, for whatever reason that they want, and then just say it was national security, and there is no check or balance on that power. You understand why how that can be abused, right?
I guess, but all right, let's move on then.
Okay, sure.
Let's do the
All right, buddy.
foreign aid policy.
On foreign aid?
Yes.
Okay.
Do you agree with foreign aid? Do you think we should still be sending money to Ukraine?
Yeah.
Yes. So all the millions of Americans that are struggling to pay their bills because they have to pay all these taxes because they have to pay for all this money going to Ukraine and going to other countries. You think that's okay for Americans to struggle because of that? Because we want to help other countries that have nothing to do with us? Do
Do
you
you know
think
how
that's
much
okay?
money we've spent on Ukraine in comparison to how much the federal budget is?
But that's I'm asking. All this money we're sending to Ukraine, that's coming out of the taxpayer's pocket. You think that's okay? When when so many Americans are struggling.
Yes. I think supporting our foreign ally
It's
is
not our
very
allies. It's
important.
not. They're not in NATO. They're not our allies. They're our allies. They became our wanted to become our
Wait, do you
allies
care
for
about NATO?
convenience because
Because
they
Trump
needed
doesn't.
us. Well, NATO takes advantage of us, so no, I really
Okay,
don't
so
care about
then
NATO.
I
I
don't know
wouldn't
why you
care if
brought
we
up
left
NATO. You
today.
don't care about NATO. So I don't know
I'm
why you
just
brought that
saying,
up.
you're saying they're our allies. They've never been our allies before
How are they not our
Russia
allies?
attacked them. They were not our allies before Russia attacked or
How? But
invaded. So
okay,
they were not part of NATO.
we've enjoyed positive relations with them.
Okay, but
Even
that don't mean
before
we have to
Russia
send them
attacked,
billions and
we observed, like, for instance, the Budapest memorandum, where their denuclearization, well, more specifically the popular, like they had nuclear weapons that I don't believe that they had the capabilities to be able to launch, and we oversaw that. Like, we gave them at the time like our word to avoid foreign aggression. We've had positive relations with these people. I don't know what argument you're using to say that
Just because
we
you have
are not
positive
allies.
relations with another country, don't mean you have to send them billions of dollars.
No, the reason why you would send them billions of
Especially when
dollars is because a
almost.
dictator is invading them.
And you don't think Zelensky's a dictator?
No. Can you provide me any
No.
evidence that the Ukrainian election was false or farcical?
How am I gonna prove that?
Well, you just said
How can I
Zelensky
show
is
you
a
proof of
dictator.
that?
How do you know Zelensky is a dictator?
How do you know Putin's a dictator? Why?
Yeah, because
he's been
because it is quite internationally recognized that his elections are illegitimate.
But where's the proof on that? Can you show me proof on that?
I mean, I can provide you evidence of people saying that the elections are illegitimate.
So, out of other people's mouths, there's no actual evidence. So that's what you're telling me. So you just asked me to show
It's
you.
these other people have documented things like him going after political enemies and jailing political enemies and what?
You could show me the evidence that says that Putin's elections are rigged. You could show me the evidence.
Yeah, I could show you evidence of Putin jailing political opponents and political dissidents. I could show you that. Would that be satisfactory?
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, like, just to like jump in here real quick. We've been in Afghanistan for like 20 years. So like,
yeah,
like why, you know?
I do not agree with the Afghanistan war. We should have never invaded that, but that was under Obama that we did that, under a Democrat. That was not under a Republican that we invaded Afghanistan.
You know, George Bush, you know.
Okay, George Bush, okay. Democrat also.
Here is an article about one of Putin's most prominent
that's a storm too.
opponents getting sentenced to 19 years in prison. Go, buddy.
If you think that Zelensky isn't dirty, you're.
I never said Zelensky isn't dirty. What I said is that I haven't seen any evidence of Zelensky being a dictator. That's what I said.
You're saying we should send him all this money when the Ukraine,
we should. He's getting invaded by a dictator.
Don't give a shit about Americans, so why should we pay them?
Who doesn't care about Americans?
The Ukrainian people, the Zelensky.
What in the world makes you think that they don't care about Americans? We literally have polling showing that they have an overwhelming, not as much anymore because of Trump, but they had an overwhelmingly positive view of America.
Yeah, I would too if a country was sending me billions of dollars.
Okay, so where are you getting the idea they don't support America?
They support us only for the money because we're giving them all this money. If it wasn't
how would you prove that Ukraine and Ukrainians have a genuine support for America? How would you prove that?
You're saying they have a genuine support. How would you?
Yes, because I have no reason to doubt their support.
Well, I do.
What is the reason?
Why?
Were you gonna say something down there?
For me? Oh,
Spider, just get whatever you gotta say off of them.
Just to like critique your shit real quick. Yeah, George Bush, he was a Republican. His dad was it George H. Bush, whatever the fuck his name is. There's a storm, just to let you know. Putin, he's a dictator. All right, he killed his political points, like Riley said. I think personally, Ukraine is a good ally to have, you know, geopolitics wise, and yeah.
This guy speaking?
No, I wasn't. I could barely speak. I was yelling too much. My bad. I don't know, man. I don't know. It's fucking 3 o'clock in the morning for me. I can't think right now.
Okay. All right.
All I'm saying is you shouldn't be just talking shit on conservatives. You don't know all conservatives. You don't know our background. You don't know this or that. So why do you have to always shit on conservatives when you don't know?
Well,
You
more
act like you know.
specifically, so I will be specific about this, and I'm not sure you're
Okay.
going to find this to be much better. Um, I typically do refrain from shitting on everyday conservatives because I think everyday conservatives tend to be people who work and they go to their job, they're beneficial members of their society, and then they
Exactly.
just turn on the TV or they go to Twitter and then their brain just shuts off. They get brainwashed by Elon Musk and Fox News into
So you
thinking
think the
certain
CNN
things
has
like
all
you have.
the
I'm gonna finish my sentence. Certain
okay.
things like you have been saying, like you're presenting me with all of these arguments, and I've already given you several reasons why the things that you said were just wrong, from the green card, from your position on the specific individual being deported, and why I believe the deportations are illegitimate of a legal resident of the United States of America. And I'm not sure that anything I will ever say will convince you. This is why I kept trying to bring it back person to person, because I'm not sure that you really connect with the idea that you are in an echo chamber. You're in a bubble and it's like a cult. And I have hope that you can get out. But yeah, that's my position. It's essentially you're brainwashed. I have a much
Do you
harsher
watch
opinion on.
CNN? Do you pay attention to CNN? Is that the news you watch? Is CNN?
I
Is
don't
that
typically
this is a
watch
quick question.
direct news stuff like that. And
No.
if I do, it's going to be more Fox News.
So you watch a conservative news station, but you don't like conservatives.
Yeah. I usually watch Fox News because I laugh at how retarded the shit that they say are.
Okay,
And
so
it provides me
conservatives are
content to be able to
Nazis.
laugh at how retarded some of the stuff they say are. Yeah.
According to legacy media and the liberal news, every conservative,
Tony,
everybody that supports
really think
Trump is a Nazi.
this is
So you're saying
again
I'm a
person
Nazi?
to person.
Yeah.
You are shitting on me for media literacy and you didn't even know what a green card was and you tried to go back and forth with me justifying that it wasn't something that I said it was, that you even looked up and it was. Okay? Really dial in the fact that right now, is it possible? Is it possible that maybe some of the positions that you have might be wrong? And that some of the things I told you might be
That's why I
right?
came in here. I was okay to debate. I mean, I'm always cool to debate. That's why I came in here. So I'm always open to listening to other people's opinions. I'm not
Yeah, and
closed-minded.
I appreciate you coming in because, like I said, there's
Yeah.
not a lot of conservatives who are willing to do that, especially nowadays. There's not a lot of conservatives who are willing to do that. But I really do want to stress the idea that you are using arguments tertiary or secondary to my points to try and combat the things that I'm saying. If you actually argue with the things that I'm saying, like, listen, you what happened when I talked about Trump? You brought up Obama. I don't give a fuck about Obama. What happened when I was talking about Fox News and their coverage? You brought up CNN. I don't give a fuck about CNN.
You're saying that one side's bad when you're saying one side's bad and you vote Democrat.
One side is more
against-
factually correct, and I can prove it is more factually correct. Yes.
So are you talking about news or the politics? Talking about the news station?
The politics, the news media, even Fox News. I wouldn't say all of it, obviously, because they lost the largest defamation suit in U.S. history. But a lot of Fox News isn't like fake news. You can actually get more or less authentic information from Fox News. However, it's biased, just like many different media outlets. Media outlets, the legacy media narrative that I feel like has been pushed on you is not factual. The legacy media, well, I would add like Reuters and NPR and BBC, these news publications are very reliable and dependable for the truth. And even to a degree, Fox News.
Yeah. I mean, I agree with you on that for sure.
Okay, but if you look at these things, they disagree with you.
Yeah, I guess, man. I just came in here to have a debate.
Hey, brother. Hey, brother. Just know that, yeah, while I do have issues with conservatives, my main problem is conservative pundits. Because, like I said, I do believe conservative pundits have been paid tens of millions of dollars, in some cases hundreds of millions, or in the case of Fox News, billions, to brainwash hardworking Americans
I mean,
into distrusting
but
the government,
you're
into
saying conservatives, but the Democrats do the same thing with their side of the news. And
not at the same rate, man. Not at the same rate. Not at the same
come
rate.
on, man.
I agree that there's
and
brainwashing that happens. I agree that there's brainwashing that happens. I won't disagree with that. But right now we have Republicans saying the sky is green. It's not blue. It's not equal. It's not equal. Why do you think Fox News had to pay nearly $1 billion in a defamation lawsuit that it was held
I'm a
liable
straight
for?
white guy. I'm a straight white male, and all liberals are. Oh man.
Well, liberals don't like straight white men. I don't disagree that that's cringe. That a lot of I wouldn't say that's primarily like a
Why would I
liberal thing
support a
as much
side
as
that
it's more
supports
of like a
liberals? I
progressive
wouldn't do it.
farther left thing. But I don't disagree
Yeah,
that
but
there's a lot of
Kamala
heat.
Harris was supporting that. She was the most far left politician that I've ever seen.
I can promise you she's not the most far left politician.
I don't know. She agreed with all that woke crap. I, I don't know. Do you agree with the woke stuff?
I don't know what you mean by woke stuff. I'm going to assume that
Woke
yes, because I believe
pronouns.
trans like women are women.
No, they're not. I'm sorry, but they're not.
I understand that you don't feel like they are, but it can map out
It's
an argument for why I
genetically
believe that they
impossible.
are.
It's genetically impossible, and you know that.
I
Everybody
understand why
knows
you
that.
think that that's the case.
Come on. All right. Well, we just have to disagree on that then, because can a transgender get pregnant?
I mean, literally, anatomically, yes, they can. I'm assuming what you're asking is, can a like trans woman get pregnant with a baby?
Yes.
Can they carry a fetus in them? No.
Yes. Then they're not a woman. I'm sorry to tell you, but they're not.
Not all women, cis women, can carry children in them. That make them not a woman?
Does trans women have ovaries?
No.
Does even
There's
women
cis
that
women without a
have
bro. I
and
understand
they
the
still
argument
have
that you're
ovaries,
trying to
they
make.
just don't work.
You just said it's 3 a.m. I don't want to get in a back and forth
Right.
argument on what exactly it means to be a woman,
Okay.
unless you have like way more time for this than it seems like you do. But what would it take for you to believe
To believe in what?
to believe that the MAGA position right now is, let's just say, wrong? I was going to load it more, just wrong. Like being pro Trump is wrong. What in your mind would it take to convince you of that?
To prove that Trump. So I see that Trump is wrong.
Yeah, Trump is
I don't know, because I
illegitimate,
agree
or
with I agree with 90% of the stuff that he does. So I don't know. I don't know what it'll take. No idea.
okay.
But there's a lot of Americans agree with me. Have you seen the I can't even think right now. Okay. Have you seen the
Deportation, trans, black,
No, I'm saying like
video
the
games. I'm trying to give
acceptance,
you topics. Maybe it'll jog your
like
memory.
the I don't know. My brains went dead. I can't even think right now.
That's fine.
So,
I do want to stress again, really be open to the idea that you're being sold a narrative, right? And that this narrative is farther away from the truth than the narrative, I'll agree, that Democrats sell. Because the Democrats do sell a narrative, but it's far closer to the truth. And I could articulate why
I
that's
will
the
never
case.
be able to support a party that supports far left and liberals. I can't do it. Can't do it. As
I'm
I
not
say right
asking
now,
necessarily for you to support the Democrats. What I'm saying is that have it in your mind that it is possible that Trump is lying to you. For instance,
I
I'll
don't
just give
know.
you an
I
example.
did not. I don't know if not. I don't have no proof. I can't tell you if Trump's lying to me or not.
Yeah, I have proof for an example. How much money do you think we've sent Ukraine?
I don't know the exact number,
Okay,
but I know
well,
it's in the billions.
yeah, okay. Do you know how much money Trump says we've sent Ukraine? This is,
He
by the
said,
way, you can Google this right now. It is a lie how much he says. This is him lying about how much money we've sent Ukraine.
but how can who put out the proof that
We
he's
did.
lying?
We did. The United States government, his Department of Defense.
And okay, but do you think that
That
if
Trump's own Department of Defense is a good audit of Trump's statement? Yes. It's his guys. He
yeah,
signs their
okay.
checks.
I'm just glad we can talk, but yeah.
Okay, there's that. There's numerous other. There's tons of lies that Trump has said, put forward, and I would highly recommend you look into some of these lies. Highly recommend it.
Well, if it was up to me, everybody would get along, but a lot of people don't like me because of my skin color, so that's impossible to do. Right? Right?
I mean, I don't know your life. I don't doubt that there are
I'm a white
people who
guy from
don't.
California.
Oh,
What do you mean?
I'm
You
from Cali
know.
too, but
You
I,
know. You
I
know
don't I
what I'm
don't know.
talking
Like I said, I don't know your life, but um I imagine there's going to be a lot of people who are not very comfortable with a white guy in California being pro-Trump. So I don't doubt that you
about.
probably
Even
had some
though they
comments.
don't know I'm pro-Trump, I don't go around wearing a MAGA hat. I don't go around wearing a Trump shirt. They don't know I'm Trump, but a lot of people still don't like me because I'm white. So that's all I gotta say. If it wasn't for them, I wouldn't mind getting along with liberals and leftists if they didn't have a problem with me because my skin color
But
and
you're never going
my
to get along with
sexual
leftists. The
preference.
leftists are going to hate you for some of that shit pretty much no matter what. But
Exactly. So
I promise you that
I'm
liberals,
kind of
us
backed into a
liberals,
corner, ain't
are
I?
not all like that. I promise
But
you
ain't I
not.
backed
There's
into a
actually
corner at
a
that
great
point?
many of us who are not like that.
Well, that's cool, and I can get along. I know liberals and leftists that I get along with, but the majority they don't like me because my skin color. So how can I even not vote Republican and not vote anybody and be okay with that, knowing that I'm not voting against people that dislike me for my skin color.
I mean, yeah, it makes it harder for you. I don't. This is part of the
Exactly.
reason why I strongly and vehemently push back against the rhetoric, like you can't be racist or stuff like this to white people, right? This is why I strongly push back against it, because I do agree that it pushes people away. But the idea would be that even if there are these people who feel this way about you in that group, that you would be a committed man to what you consider to be the truth and fact finding, right? So, for an instance, some of the people who have been the most racist to me interpersonally have been like leftists. Leftists have been the most racist to me interpersonally.
Thank you.
But I'm never going to be like, okay, I'm leaving the left because of that racism. Because listen, I could justify my positions as a liberal. I could justify my position. I don't give a fuck if everybody around me is racist to me. I could justify all of my shit. That's what I care about, is that I can justify it, and I stand where I do because of the facts. I would hope that you'd be in a similar position.
Well, yeah, I've never really thought about it, but
Well, look, man, if sounds like you need to like go or something, if you do, then that's fine. But you know, it's I would hope that you would be very open to the fact that Trump is lying to you. Not only is, and I really want to stress this, not only is Trump lying to you, conservative pundits, Charlie Kirk, Ben Shapiro, these people, Joe Rogan, Piers Morgan, are not fact checking him. You're going to need to go outside of that box to find the facts. Because they're paid tens of millions of dollars to peddle the same lies.
The left and the liberals have a lot of they have to dig themselves out of a hole. You can see it
this is my perspective.
Come on now.
From again, just for you. The left shouldn't have to dig themselves out.
They put themselves in that hole.
Well, here's my issue. I'm not saying I think that you should be a liberal, even though I do. I think everybody should be a liberal, but I'm not saying that I think that you should be, and that should be the takeaway. I think just you shouldn't be a conservative because you're being lied to for money. Because absolute degenerate scumbag motherfuckers love seeing an extra 0, 2 zeros, a comma at the end of their fucking paycheck, and they're willing to throw you under the bus for it. And I truly mean this. If we were to take it step by step and go through it, you would have the kind of rage that I do over these people. These people are truly throwing you under the bus so they can get another comma on their paycheck. And I can totally substantiate that.
That's what I feel.
I understand that. I understand that. And
so it can go either way.
I understand it could go either way. I'm open to the fact that I could be wrong, right? I'm totally open to the fact that I could be wrong.
I am too. That's why I'm here debating with you.
Yeah, I understand that. I respect that.
If I didn't care about your opinion and didn't want to debate, I would have just went off your live stream.
The problem is that, again, it just doesn't sound like you have a system that you have in place to be able to establish whether or not you're being lied to and then like remove yourself from the situation. For instance, if I could be provided legitimate evidence to show the election was stolen from Donald Trump, to show that there was widespread rampant voter fraud, to show that there was widespread corruption in the DOJ and the judiciary right now to be able to stop Trump from his action. If I could see the judiciary or the prosecutors for Mayor Eric Adams being entirely politically motivated, if I could find any evidence on earth for any of these claims, I would be far more receptive to the idea of being pro-Trump. But not only do I not find these things, I find pundits saying that they exist without pointing to anything. So to be clear, when I look into it, it's not that I don't find evidence. I find liars. It's worse. I find literal liars. So yeah.
Well, yeah, this was fun.
Yep. Right, man.
All right.